So welcome to the first in a series of lessons dealing with the Rasgueado technique. And the Rasgueado is the word for all the types of strumming in flamenco. So all the types of strumming come under that one word, Rasgueado, also called rajeo sometimes. So Rasgueado, rajeo. And in the first few lessons, I'm going to be dealing with the Abanico technique, and there's a few different types that fall under the name Abanico. And Abanico is a fan, so it's like and it's called the Abanico because of the wrist movement used in the use of the fan. So it's all coming from the wrist, using the thumb and some of the fingers, depending on which type of Abanico Rasgueado we're doing. So the one I'm going to look at first is the one utilizing the thumb pulgar upstroke and the A finger downstroke and the index finger downstroke. So it's a sequence of three finger strokes. The main thing on this is that we all sort of know how to do this movement quite naturally. So if the fan idea doesn't work, then you can sort of think about what happens when you have a close shave. Like you think, oh, well, that was close, and you do that quite naturally. Or, oh, that's hot, it's hot. Something like that. That movement is exactly the Rasgueado movement. So the idea is to position the arm in such a way that the wrist, that motion of the wrist would allow the downstroke of the fingers to hit all the strings if necessary, and the thumb on the return to hit all the strings also. So we wouldn't want the wrist to be moving or the arm to be moving up and down. So we have one position of the wrist, and that position catches all the strings. So if my wrist was too high like that, I wouldn't get and just rotated like that. I'd hit only the bass strings here, and if it was too low, then I wouldn't hit all the strings. So you can find a position that's quite comfortable too. So, and the first thing is just getting used to a down with all the fingers, maybe not the little finger, but the A, M, I, and the thumb up, just to get that the correct position. And then what I'm going to show in this first lesson is not the actual technique itself, but rather the components of the technique, because first is just getting used to the sequence. And if anybody already is familiar with this one, the thumb, A, I, then you can skip this lesson maybe and go on to the next one. But this is for anybody starting this technique. I just want to show the sequence and then just one thing after that to practice. So the sequence is the thumb. And again, I'll go more into this in detail about how to do. Actually, there's many things involved in doing this thumb stroke, but basically you're moving the wrist and moving towards the guitar strings. So your thumb would engage under. In the slow practice, this might not happen when it gets faster, but in the slow practice, just a full engagement under the first string, and then your thumb would start to flick during the wrist movement. So it's a bit of a thumb flick, but powered and with it like the wrist is slinging the hand, and the thumb does this, but with the power of the wrist sling behind it. So, and it's the same with the other fingers down. So what you want to do is when you use the A finger, you bring that finger into the hand, and then the index finger also. So now we're going to do the thumb. That's the sequence. Normally the Rasgueado could start with any finger in certain circumstances, but the main use of it is the thumb, the upstroke with the thumb on the beat. So we'll start with the thumb, and then we'll play the A finger down, not worrying about the index finger yet, just the A finger, as the same with the flick as you hit the strings using the wrist. Okay, and then the index, you bring the hand up. So thumb, A, and then index. Now, of course, if you're thinking about that becoming fast, it wouldn't be possible with what I'm doing now, because the thumb comes up, leaves the A finger ready. But when I play the A finger down, the index finger you'd have to bring the hand up again to play the index finger. But as I said, I'm not dealing with the technique yet, just the sequence of the fingers. And that's a good thing to practice before you implement the technique aspect of it. So first, just very slow, not too fast, just don't try and do these movements fast, it's just to get used to the sequence. So you can see as you bring fingers into the hand, you're just thinking of the fingers that are going to be used, not the middle finger wouldn't come in, for example. That must remain outside the trajectory. So now, one more thing, after practicing that, you can get a head start on the technique aspects, which I'll just go into a tiny bit here, and is the first move, the first important thing when you play the thumb up, is to try and get the A finger in position. That's and that moves in from this knuckle, not this, into the hand, but like this, and the index finger also. So if you think of those two fingers moving into the hand like that. So we start with the thumb, and as you play the thumb, you create that, you bring those fingers in. So they're not there to start with, it's just to relax to start with. And as the thumb plays through, you end up like this. So the third finger ready to play, and the index finger way back beyond the, so that would then be in the sequence. So be very careful not to do this, because if you don't bring the index finger back far enough, then you will have to, as you play the A finger, you'll have to do another movement with that finger. So we want everything ready in sequence, and we're just dealing with the thumb now. So, but with the preparation of the A finger and the index finger, and remember it's moving from this knuckle here, not this one. So we don't want this. This wouldn't be correct. It's giving you as far away as possible from the string, but again, not tight in the hand either, not pressing too much, just very relaxed, just back. If you can touch and not be tense, touch the back of the hand or the ball of the thumb here, that would be okay. But if that's too much, just go where's comfortable, but always in that direction, guided by this, just the movement just from here. And then your middle finger is outside the trajectory, so that's not going to get in the way, or it's not going to want to play or be able to play in that trajectory. So first, just the sequence, remembering the position of the wrist, so it gives you a span of all the strings without having to move your arm up or down. So just thumb, A, I. See, I'm already getting prepared when I'm saying just do the sequence, because I can't help it. I've just trained it so much. But if I just did it like I want you to do it, it would just be just very casual, just one at a time, no preparation. So up, down with the A, down with the I, up with the M, up with the thumb, down with the A, down with the I, and then the preparation exercise just with the thumb. And when doing this one, make sure not to have the wrist in like this either. Don't do this. It's just the wrist remains always the same, sort of out arched. So we're doing that. The wrist is still arched. So that's the first step of the actual implementation of the actual technique. So we'll continue from there in lesson number 2. So anyway, have a happy practice and see you soon.